If you're a big fan of video games, then you're probably well aware of a company called Naughty Dog. Now, Naughty Dog is usually making PlayStation exclusives, the likes of The Last of Us and Uncharted series. That's the work they're most known for, and they're all great games. Uncharted 1, 2, 3 to 4, obviously the series, are all great, and The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 are both great, even though The Last of Us Part 2 story kind of stinks in my opinion. But regardless, still a great game. But at the moment, since the PS5's been out, they've only released remasters. They released the Uncharted Remaster Collection, they've released The Last of Us Part 1 Remaster, and they've released The Last of Us Part 2 Remaster, which comes out this week. And it's just kind of baffling to me why such a great company is just coming out with remasters. Since the PS5s came out, they haven't came out of any new game, any new IP, nothing. Simply just remasters, games that we've already played, and they've just improved them to some extent. And it's just kind of baffling to me considering how good Naughty Dog are. And it also, I don't like it because Naughty Dog are great. Everyone knows this. Anyone who's played the games know how good they are. But again, it feels like wasted potential in a way, that they're wasting all this time just creating remasters. Remasters that no one's really asking for. No one's asking for a Last of Us Part 1 remaster. Yeah, it's nice. And, but no one's really asking for it. The game still aged really well, in my opinion. It's still held up with a lot of games to date. Same with The Last of Us Part 2. That's the one what baffles me the most. A game what came out 4 years ago, not even 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago, is getting a remaster. How the fuck does that work? I can't wrap my head around it. Why are we remastering a game what came out less than half a decade ago? There's no reason to do so. It feels like a cash grab, and I know they've got is it these lost missions, whatever, 3 of them. Is that really worth a remaster? Not in my opinion. Now, if they included and involved the multiplayer, what a lot of people were really interested in, then fair play. But they didn't. They've actually scrapped The Last of Us multiplayer. It annoys me, to be honest. The Last of Us Part 1 Factions, whatever it was called, that was amazing. You still have a big player base on there, a very dedicated fan base for the multiplayer of The Last of Us Part 1. And then we got told we're going to get this multiplayer, it was going to be great. It just got bigged up, and then nothing came of it. Everyone was kind of waiting. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, yeah, it's been cancelled. It's been scrapped. They have no plans to be making The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer, and it kind of annoyed me. I wasn't someone who spent a lot of time on The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. However, I did enjoy my time on that game. It felt really unique, and that's what I liked about it the most. It was very unique. And then to have it scrapped with number 2, it never came out of a release, which I was kind of expecting. I was expecting a multiplayer with The Last of Us Part 2, considering it took, 7 years for the sequel to come out. I was expecting, multiplayer to come out with it. Yet we didn't get it, but we were told we were going to be getting it. I was like, okay, fair enough. Naughty Dog, I trust them, I believe them. They're gonna take the time with it. It's gonna be amazing, and then it's ended up just being in the bin, and I don't want it to be in the bin because I know that Naughty Dog could come out with something great, and yet for some reason that's just not being the case. Instead, what they've been doing is being busy making remasters that no one's asking for, and it's just so frustrating. You know what I mean? I just don't understand this at all from Naughty Dog. Now, in my opinion, the only thing that Naughty Dog can do now is simply make a new IP. That's got to happen. We can't get another game what we feel familiar with. I don't want another Uncharted game. I know you can go off and do something with Drake's brother or something like that, but that's not something what I'm really excited for. I don't want The Last of Us Part 3. Yeah, if you bring it out in a few years' time, then cool, whatever. Although I'm not over the moon about The Last of Us Part 3. I don't think we should have done The Last of Us Part 2. But anyways, we just need a new IP from Naughty Dog. I don't want it getting too stale with Naughty Dog. It's already been, 2020? 4 years ago since the last game we got from them. And, this rate, I don't know when we're going to get a new IP. I hope it's really soon. But, again, with The Last of Us TV show, I just don't know if we're going to get it. All the focus seems to be on that show, and I completely understand why. But you got to remember where you came from, and that was from video games. That's what got you this far. You know what I mean? And if you created a new IP and it was great, which obviously Naughty Dog are very capable of doing, then you could get another TV show out of that. And also I completely forgot the Uncharted got a film out of it. So I understand that they might want to tap into the film industry or TV industry, but first you've got to be creating new IPs and new games in order to create new films and new TV shows. And at the moment, Naughty Dog aren't showing any signs of wanting to do that, and it just kind of confuses me. They're one of the best developers out there when we create a game, and we're just getting remasters from him. It just feels like a massive waste in my opinion. And yeah, it's kind of sad to see, because I grew up on the Uncharted games. I love the Uncharted games. Uncharted 2 is one of my favourite games of all time, like top 5 favourite games of all time. And to see them not release anything, it just kind of confuses me. We had Uncharted 1 in 2007, I'm pretty sure. We had Uncharted 2 in 2009, Uncharted 3 in 2011 or 12, and then a few years later, I think it was 4 years later, we got Uncharted 4. The span of that was like every 2 years pretty much. But now we're kind of stuck in a situation where we aren't getting any new IPs or any new games, and it's just very frustrating.